The avian flu threat, a raw pet food recall, and the growing danger to cats and potentially humans. The unsettling spread of avian influenza, H5N1, continues to grip the United States, casting a long shadow over pet owners and raising concerns about public health. This isn't just a bird flu. It's a burgeoning crisis impacting domestic cats, highlighting the potentially fatal consequences of feeding raw pet food. The recent voluntary recall of Wild Coast raw pet food serves as a stark reminder of this growing threat. Initially, the alarming news broke earlier this month. Cats in 2 separate Oregon households tested positive for H5N1 after consuming Wild Coast raw food. This triggered a voluntary recall, a crucial, albeit belated, response from the company. However, the crisis deepened almost 2 weeks later. The grim reality of the situation solidified with the announcement of 2 more confirmed cases. Cats in different Washington state households also succumbed to the virus after consuming the same contaminated product. One cat tragically succumbed to the disease and was euthanized, while the other remains under intensive veterinary care. This isn't an isolated incident. Since 2022, nearly 100 domestic cats across the U.S. have tested positive for H5N1, a virus that can prove fatal. The chilling possibility of human-to-cat transmission, and vice versa, hangs heavy in the air, prompting widespread unease and demanding immediate and decisive action. The delayed response by Wild Coast Raw raises serious questions. Why the week-long delay between notification of potential contamination and the issuance of the voluntary recall? What measures are being taken to proactively contact vendors and consumers affected by this potentially lethal product? These unanswered questions leave a trail of unanswered concerns and erode public trust. The Guardian's attempts to reach Wild Coast Raw for comment have thus far proven unsuccessful. Consider the experience of Nop, a Portland, Oregon artist and breeder of Cornish Rex cats. A seasoned raw food feeder for many of her cats, she diligently followed reports of contaminated raw pet food, placing her faith in the testing of Wild Coast Raw products. This incident underscores the pervasive risk and the lack of absolute assurance, even when sourcing seemingly reputable brands. The risk extends beyond Wild Coast Raw. Raw milk, owing to its potential for carrying massive viral loads, presents a significant hazard. Similarly, raw beef has also been implicated in the transmission of H5N1, widening the scope of concern and demanding a more holistic approach to pet food safety. The dangers of raw pet food extend far beyond avian influenza. A host of other pathogens lurks within these unprocessed products, including Salmonella, E. coli, Campylobacter, Listeria, and Toxoplasmosis. These risks alone should give pause to pet owners considering raw food diets. The addition of a potentially fatal virus like H5N1 elevates the concern to a critical level. The potential for human transmission cannot be ignored. The 2016 H7N2 outbreak in a New York City shelter demonstrated the potential for zoonotic transmission, cats transmitting the virus to a human. This alarming precedent underscores the necessity of proactive measures to mitigate the risk of further outbreaks. Dr. Valika, whose full name and title were not provided in the original text, offers critical advice for pet owners seeking to protect both their animals and themselves. Keep cats indoors and prevent dogs from interacting with birds, especially in areas frequented by migratory birds like ponds and lakes. The potential for transmission through intermediary hosts, like mice and rats, especially near poultry and dairy farms, should also be considered. These rodents have also tested positive for H5N1, highlighting the complex web of potential transmission routes. The current situation necessitates a comprehensive response. Pet owners must be vigilant, informed, and proactive. The choice of pet food should not come at the cost of the health and well-being of our beloved companions and ourselves. The unsettling reality of this widespread avian flu outbreak emphasizes the critical need for caution, responsible pet ownership, and a thorough understanding of the potential risks associated with raw pet food diets. The future safety of our pets and potentially ourselves depends on our collective action and awareness.